So, performance hierarchy is the next area which we have to study for APM. The performance hierarchy refers to the setting of objectives and measurement of performance throughout the organization. It starts by setting the overall purpose of the organization, the mission, before developing more detailed objectives, targets for operational levels at the top of the hierarchy. The objectives are longer term and less detailed. Further down the hierarchy, the objectives and methods of performance become more detailed and shorter term. So let us look at the organizational purpose now. As part of the corporate strategic planning of an organization, directors will define the mission, the vision, and the objectives of the organization. So, what is mission, firstly? Oh, just a second. It, sometimes it gets into the mode of Chinese, though. Now, mm, yeah, so organizational purpose. But as I said, as part of the strategic planning of an organization, directors will define the mission, the vision, and the objectives of the organization. Now, what is mission? It defines the overall purpose of the organization. The directors will define the, okay, it may also describe the organization's identity, describe the organization's identity, activities, and place in society. So basically, what is the mission? Mission, it is the overall purpose of the organization, the reasons why it exists in the organization. It describes the organization identity, activities, and the place in society. For example, the accountancy. Accountancy. The purpose of the accountancy existence is to provide quality education to the students all over the world, right? Whether affordable, yet flexible, and yet qualitative services for the students. So that's our mission. That's our reason why we exist into the society. For example, another example for the Emirates Airlines, why they exist, provide the civil aviation services to the passengers all over the world with quality, with comfort, right? So that's what is known as mission. Now, what is vision? A forward looking statement provides and goals on what the organization wants to be. It is what is achieved. It is what is achieved. Fulfill its mission. It is what is vision is a forward-looking statement that provides inspiration and goals on the what organizations. It's a long-term planning that where we want to be in long term. That means generally in upcoming 5 10 years, what we want to be, what we want to achieve. For example, again, the accountancy in 5 years. For example, we want to serve the students of ACCA in more than 100 countries. Okay, we want to teach 100,000 students. That's our vision, the goal, the long-term goal, right? Then corporate objectives, more concrete objectives, stating what the mission means, in practical terms to the primary stakeholder groups. That is, for example, to increase the company's market value by more than a given percentage over a longer term. So, more concrete objectives. Uh, the stakeholder. For example, we have the example, as I said, to increase value for a more than a giving percentage. For example, the target was 10%, but we actually just more than give well, that's a corporate objectives. Now, the contents of a mission statement. What are the contents of mission statement? Many organizations set out their purpose in a formal mission statement. This may be published in a promotional materials, in a promotional materials, and financial reports accompanying financial statement. A typical mission statement following reason why the entity exists. Number two, type of business. For example, what are the products they're offering? What are the services they're offering? The method of competing with others. Then policies and standards of behavior. Standards of behavior, values and culture. For example, Microsoft is best known for its computer software products. So what are their mission is? They said, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the. Another example for the mission statement, Coca-Cola, as you all know, is one of the biggest global brands, and its mission is to refresh the world, make a difference. Uh, Another is Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group, a Japanese holding company that offers financial services through its subsidiaries. And its mission, what they say is, we grow and prosper together. We grow and prosper together with our customers by providing services of greater value to them. We aim to maximize the shareholders' value through the continuous growth of our business. We create a work environment that encourages and rewards intelligent and highly motivated employees. Now, what's the impact of mission statement on the performance management? Impact on performance management. The advantages. First, we will discuss. Here are some of the advantages, the which we can say the positive impacts who favor the use of the mission statements. Okay, they can claim those. Number one, mission statement provide focus for an organization, strategy development by providing a benchmark against to measure. Proposed strategies. It guides departments and individuals within the organization. They will ensure that they work toward achieving the organization's mission rather than working towards other objectives. Mission statement also contain Information about the organization's values, information about the organization values, and as such, they ensure that staff behave in a way that is consistent with the organization's value. Organization's values. So various studies have concluded that having a mission statement improve the organization profitability, but there may be problems with statements as well, or you can say disadvantages. So let us discuss those as well, folks. Many mission statements are full of meaningless statements. Many mission statements are full of meaningless statements. Okay. Mission statements in some organizations are used as a public relations rather than a planning tool. I hope you get it till here. Now, performance measures, again, the impact on performance measurement. So, performance measurement chosen at the strategic level of the business should aim to measure how well the organization is performing against its mission, right? So, performance measurement chosen at strategic level business should aim to measure how well organization is performing against the mission, its mission. Okay. Well, and the main difficulty with related to a mission is that missions are usually stated in very general terms. What does to maximize the wealth of shareholders mean? More specific measures related to the mission must be developed before performance can be measured meaningfully. The measures selected should be relevant to the mission. Achieving targets for the measures should translate into the accomplishing the organization's mission. So the main difficulty with selecting performance measures related to the mission is that missions are usually stated in general terms. What does the maximize to shareholder wealth? So more specific measures related to the mission related to the mission must be developed before performance can be measured. Can be measured meaningfully, right? As I said, measures should be relevant to the mission. Achieving targets for the measures should translate into accomplish the organization's mission. Now, linking strategy and operations. Having set the mission, vision, and corporate objectives for the organization as the whole, the strategic objectives must be broken down and cascaded so that the lower level organization managers work towards the corporate objectives which support the vision and mission. Therefore, subsidiary performance objectives will be developed to achieve long term strategy objectives. An article written by the previous examiner states if there is no link between strategic and operational planning, the result is likely to be unrealistic plans, inconsistent goals, poor communication, and inadequate performance measurement. So, what we have to do? It's mission, okay? It's goals, its objectives, its strategy, its tactics, and finally, the operational plans. So, goals may be defined from the mission. From mission, okay. Goals tend to specify what organization wishes to achieve. Goals tend to specify what organization wishes to achieve. Okay. As far as the corporate objectives are concerned, so corporate objectives are developed from the goals, while a goal specifies what organization wishes to achieve. Example, improve customer satisfaction and objectives sets out what organization needs to do to achieve the goal. Example, produce the best quality products. Corporate objectives apply to organization as a whole. There will be main objectives which relate to the mission, and there may also be subsidiary objectives as well. These are other objectives of the organization which may relate to stakeholder groups, example, reducing pollution by given percentage. are developed. So corporate objectives are developed from goals, while goals specify what organization wishes to achieve. There will be hierarchy of objectives in terms of primary and secondary. Objectives, for example, to achieve a primary objective of a profit growth, the business may need to achieve secondary objectives such as improve product quality or more efficient use of resources. Okay, each business unit within the organization may have its objectives which should support the overall corporate objectives. And strategy here is the longer term plan encompassing where areas of the business the organization will be involved in and how it will compete in various markets. Tactics relate to how to compete in particular business areas, right? Now, remember that objectives should be smart. Smart objectives. Okay. So objectives are targets that an organization sets out to achieve. Okay. That an organization sets out to achieve, and they are elements of the mission that have been quantified and the basis for deciding appropriate performance measures and indicators. So objectives should be smart. So that means SMART. They should be specific. For example, improve inventory management, but rather to reduce the frequency of stockouts, to reduce average inventory levels, or to hold inventory in better conditions to reduce wastage. So it should be specific. It should be measurable, right? So specific. For example, as I said, inventory management. It should be measurable. It should be, possible to measure the achievement. It should be achievable. That means it should be agreed. It should be accepted by the people who are responsible to achieve the target. It should be relevant to the organization and the person responsible for achieving the objectives. Managers must understand how achieving an objective will help organizational success and believe that they can affect its achievement. So it should be to the relevant to the organization and people responsible for achieving the target. And the next is time. Time limited. So objective should be achieved within a specified period. I hope it's clear till here. Okay, next. CSF approach. CSF, that is critical success factors. Okay, critical success factors approach to performance management involve defining and focusing on critical success factors. So, critical success factor CSF, an area where an organization must perform Well, if it is to succeed, those product features that are particularly valued by group of customers and therefore where the organization must excel to outperform competition. So the word critical implies that there should only be a smaller number of such factors for any organization. Okay. Remember that for each CSF, critical success factor, management um, sources of critical success factors. Number one, the structure of the industry. Any industry has a set of critical success factors that depend on the characteristics of the industry itself. For example, one of the CSFs within the car industry is having an efficient dealer network. Number two, uh, source is competitive strategy. Industry position and geographic location. While some CSFs apply to all organizations in a particular industry, other will depend on the organization's competitive strategy. For example, companies' competitive strategies in the industry may differ. Some may aim to be niche players, and others may be low-cost providers. As such, there will be CSFs to support these strategies. Number three, environmental factors. Um, Changes in the environment may lead to or change CSF. For example, energy supply availability could be a CSF during oil shortages. Another is temporary factors. Certain items may become critical in the short term because current performance in these areas is below an acceptable level. However, in the longer term, these areas are not problem areas and do not need special attention. So they are only CSFs temporarily. Then we have functional managerial position. The function of a manager will determine CSFs that are relevant to that manager. For example, product quality and inventory control are likely CSFs for most production managers. So I hope it's clear. Now we have alternative classifications. One is internal versus external. Every manager will have internal CSF relating to the department. And the people they manage. These CSFs can range across such diverse interests as human resource development or inventory control. The primary characteristics of such internal CSF is that they deal with the issues entirely within the manager's sphere or influence and control. While external CSFs relates to the issue less under the management, less under the manager direct control, such as the availability or price of a particular raw material or energy source. Next is monitoring versus building or adopting. Monitoring, building, adapting. Monitoring CSF monitor the performance of the different parts of the organization. Such CSFs are monitored continuously and are often financially oriented. For example, actual performance versus budget, or the current status of product or service cost. Another monitoring CSF might be personal turnover rates. Um, then we have building CSF. Building CSF focus is strategic. It's more strategic. Okay. They monitor how well the organization is changing, is changing in the direction required to react to the long-term changes. To the long-term changes in the organization. Environment. For example, number of new products successfully launched. So far, so good. And I hope it is clear to you guys and you're enjoying, right? So, examples of CSFs. Examples of CSFs identified for particular industries as follows. For example, car manufacturing. For car manufacturing, particular CSF could be, styling and efficient dealer network. Tight control of management costs. Another industry, food processing. So for food processing, what could be our CSFs? New products, good distribution channels, effective advertising. Another industry, live insurance. It could be, innovative new policies and products. Supermarkets, product mix, and availability. Okay, the examples of more contemporary CSFs is that be service oriented when working with our customers, achieve order fulfillment achievement through online process improvement, align incentives and rewards with employee roles for increased employee satisfaction. Okay, so far so good. Now, CSFs and KPIs. Okay, CSFs and KPIs. Let us start with it now. Just a second. Okay, key performance indicators. Now, we already discussed CSF. So, key performance indicators. Key performance indicators are indicators or metrics that measure the most important aspects of an organization performance. So, how we will define it? A metric used to track progress and performance in the most important aspects of an organization's performance. So linking CSF and KPIs. KPIs measure how well CSS are achieved. KPIs indicate a performance level required to achieve a critical success factor. Now, let us, we have various examples for it. For example, the industry. Okay. Then we have CSF, and then we will have KPIs. Okay. For this purpose. So, firstly, motor vehicle industry. Critical success factor, efficient dealer network. So one of the KPI is number of active dealerships. Number two, customer service satisfaction scores. Okay, another industry, pharmacy, pharmaceuticals. What could be the CSF? Yeah, effective research and development for new drugs. Research and development for new drugs. Um, KPI, number of patients filed. Research and development expenditure as percentage of revenue. Next, it could be competitive strategy or industry. It's cost leadership. That's the competitive strategy. Okay. So, what could be the CSF for it? Ability to achieve economies of scale and what is KPI? Production cost per unit, gross margin percentage. Next, competitive strategy is differentiation. And its number of unique product or service. Features valued by customers. These are the CSF. What could be the KPI? Customer perceived value scores, percentage of product returns. Right, so far so good. So I hope it's clear till here, and now we will proceed with the further meaning of operations. Okay, Anthony's model described three levels of management, and those are, the three levels of management are strategic, tactical, operational, right? So, operations are the organizations day to day activities which may be physically removed, removed from where the corporate objectives are set, and monitored. So, one of the biggest challenges of performance management, yeah, biggest challenge of P.M performance management is, sorry, is ensuring operations are working towards the organization strategy. So now the objectives. There are five main operational performance objectives which support corporate objectives. Okay. One is speed. Okay. Which that is how fast a company can deliver its products and general sales and generate sales. Then we have quality, quality of product. That is quality of product, by the way. Okay. the quality of product. Typically, quality is considered to measure how well a product conform to certain spec specifications. Specifications. It also encompasses how desirable the features of the product are, product reliability, durability, ease of servicing, how well it performs, its intended function, how much customers believe in its value. Okay, so or desirable, the feature of products, product reliability, product durability, ease of servicing. Okay. Um, how many variations are available in product cost, product unit cost. Okay. Next is flexibility in operations. That is, flexible operations can configure product lines to deal with various requirements, adjust product lines quickly to new conditions and all. Okay. Dependability of operational performance. Dependability of operational performance. This concerns the timely delivery of products to customers per plant, prices and cost, the product's ability to function in an intended way consistently over a reasonable period is also a measure of its dependability. So far, so good. Okay, then I hope it's clear till here. And we are towards the end. Performance planning gap. The performance planning gap, it is the difference between the plan objectives of the organization, organization, and the outcome that will occur if its current activities continue unchanged. For example, an organization has included a strategic objective to reduce its emission of pollutions into the environment. On evaluating the emission of its current activities, it has found that its emissions level will increase if left unchecked. A business aims to grow market share in three identified major markets. For example, on evaluating its current position in those markets and considering its competitors' activities, the conclusion is that by the end of the evaluation period, there will be no change in the market share or level of acceptance among consumers. So, as far as the failing the performance gap is concerned, as maintaining the status quo does not close the planning gap, affirmative action must be taken with a commitment to allocate resources and focus on the areas needed to bridge the gap. So strategies that could implemented include sort, pastel, Ishikawa Fishon analysis, and other applicable models. I hope it is clear, and we are done with this area as well. See you next time in the next class.